Hey everyone, it's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Friday, July 21st. Hope you're well. And speaking of doing well, just a quick update in regards to my back injury. I had an injury, either a torn ligament or muscle, or maybe even some spasms. That was really excruciating pain. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but feeling a lot better. Got some medications from the doctor, and feeling a lot better today. I'm going to try to get some videos out this weekend, but I'll probably be back to my regular self next week. But good to be back. And in this video, we're going to be discussing parent company Altria Group. The Philip Morris International subsidiary is going to be potentially set to buy Syqe Medical for a deal worth up to $650 million. So we'll discuss all that and more today. But before we do, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, you'll be notified on any future live streams or when I post a new video. So as you can see, Philip Morris buying Israeli MJ firm for up to $650 million, as reported by MJ Biz Daily. And this was reported by initially by business newspaper Calculist in Israel. Syqe's chief product is metered dose pharmaceutical grade inhalers that allow patients to measure the exact dose of medical MJ. If completed, the deal would mark one of the biggest investments in the MJ space by a tobacco producer in recent years. And I've been saying for a while now that the companies with the most to lose are the big tobacco, big alcohol, and pharmaceutical companies that are going to have the most to lose with regards to MJ. So they are scared the most, right? So it's no wonder that we're seeing tobacco companies. If you remember, Constellation Brands bought a majority stake in Cannabis Growth, and the stock absolutely exploded after that. But in my opinion, this isn't going to mark the bottom of the bear market, but this is a good vote of confidence that, this industry isn't going away. We got tech giants, you got tobacco giants, alcohol giants entering the space, pharmaceutical companies. They're not investing, $600 million or $1 billion plus, thinking that it's going to go belly up, right? They're very confident in the space. And in my opinion, this is just a vote of confidence that, this is generally when companies get into the space is at the end of a bear market. But in my opinion, this isn't enough to lift us out of this bear market. We need a big catalyst like safe banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ. I don't think that has the best chance of playing out. What I think our best chance that we have for the catalyst marking the end of this bear market and starting a new bull market is the reviewal by HHS and reclassification of MJ at the, whether we get rescheduled or even descheduled. I think that's going, and that could even fix a lot of the uplisting and the safe banking issues as well, all in one go. So I think that has the biggest potential and more likelihood of and probability of playing out than safe banking, in my opinion. So we'll be watching out for that. But obviously, like I said, Philip Morris investing $650 million, they're not doing that in hopes of losing that money. They are thinking they're going to multiply that money. And then in 2018, the same group, Altria, one of the largest tobacco companies in North America, pumped 2.4 billion Canadian dollars into Ontario-based MJ producer Kronos Group, though the Canadian company is now looking for a buyer. I did a video on this. Curaleaf was one of the ones potentially interested in acquiring the company, but we haven't seen anything concrete, so we'll continue to keep an eye out for that. But the following year, British tobacco giant Imperial Brands invested $123 million in Toronto-based MJ producer Auxly MJ Group. So Philip Morris's reported $650 million agreement to purchase Syqe would make the Israeli company one of the most valuable MJ firms in the world. According to Calculist, the pending deal consists of milestones, and Philip Morris is investing $120 million upfront in Syqe. If the Israeli company obtains approval from the US FDA for its inhaler following clinical trials, Philip Morris would purchase the Syqe shares it doesn't already own, bringing in the total price of $650 million, according to Calculist. Owen Bennett, an MJ and tobacco equity analyst for New York-based investment bank Jefferies Group, wrote on Tuesday that $650 million valuation would make Syqe the seventh most valuable MJ company in the world. Bennett said the move could help Philip Morris tap into the vape medical MJ market, which he pegged at $22 billion in the next 10 to 15 years. So Philip Morris isn't entirely new to the MJ space, medical MJ space either, and specifically in tech. The company earlier invested $20 million in Syqe Medical when it was a startup, and Philip Morris's move to buy Syqe Medical comes 2 years after the New York-based cigarette maker told Bloomberg News that it was analyzing the MJ industry for market opportunities, and this was obviously one of those opportunities that they were looking at. So Calculus reports said Syqe holds approximately 120 patents, and the inhaler is currently available in Israel and Australia. It was approved in Canada in 2021 as only the fourth medical device for cannabinoid vaporizer, but it doesn't appear to have made it to market yet. The inhaler is reported to have taken 8 years to develop and cost of $83 million. So here's the website for Syqe Air. You can see here medical MJ. They go over their different types of patents and things like that, but you can check out their global partners, Novachem in Australia, and then they also have Pharma MT in Malta. So here's Altria Group. You can see here Philip Morris subsidiary of that, so parent group, Altria. And then obviously, if you're not familiar with them, they're the maker of Marlboro, I guess that's pronounced. I'm not a smoker, but pretty sure it's pronounced Marlboro. I thought it was always Marlboro, but yeah, Marlboro. So again, huge company in the United States. Again, I'm not a smoker, but again, they know that, you know, people like myself who are looking for healthier alternatives, right, whether it be consuming MJ or what have you, you know, and then the pharmaceutical companies with the opioid crisis, and then with alcohol, you know, we know that, you know, even Molson Coors is getting into the partnership now with Hexacorp, and now a subsidiary of Tilray, right? So we know that Hexo was purchased by Tilray, and you have Molson Coors in the space. So all of these companies are capitulating, and they're looking to get into the space and capitalize on it because they know that they have the most to lose. So in my opinion, this is a smart move on their behalf. But we know that Altria, like I said earlier in the video, that Altria-backed MJ producer Cronos is exploring sale, and I already did a video on this. You can check it out. But essentially, Curaleaf was listed in there, and this was kind of a failed opportunity. And maybe it was the Canadian space. You know, who knows? Maybe that's why they're looking at Israel in the medical space versus, you know, the Canadian market and the recreational space. So maybe they're just looking to diversify their portfolio. We'll see if they end up selling Cronos to another, you know, maybe a potential multi-state operator in the US, or even another potential licensed producer here in Canada. So that remains to be seen. But again, that didn't play out so well. And then also Altria buys Enjoy, abandons Juul as its shift towards its vaping strategy. So once vaunted Juul pact ends with billions in lost value, and Altria to pay at least $2.75 billion for Enjoy as expected. And then, as you can see here, Altria invested $13 billion in Juul, and as the U.S. moves to ban e-cigarettes, their value has gone up in smoke, no pun intended. So again, they had a couple of bad investments, so we'll see whether or not this actually comes to fruition and it plays out 100% with Syqe Medical. But like I said, deal valued up to $650 million potentially, and would put it at about the 7th position for the biggest MJ company in the world. So we'll see if they have better luck this time. But again, the fact that we have, you know, these incumbents, right? We have the people that have the most to lose, the companies that have the most to lose, which is big tobacco, big alcohol, and big pharma. Again, they're not giving up on the space, right? They're putting their money where their mouth is, and watch what they do, not what they say, right? $650 million is no chump change, and they're not investing that into the MJ space thinking that it's going to go up in smoke ultimately, right? So in my opinion, this is a great vote of confidence, and it happens near a bear market, right? This is what happens when valuations are down in the dumps and we're this low in terms of valuations. This is when big companies start to get into the space, right? But again, we need some sort of massive catalyst across the sector, like safe banking, legalization of medical in the US, potential other countries as well going rec or medical, and then individual states in the US potentially going medical and rec, right? The more that we have. But in my opinion, I think the best likelihood of the catalyst, of the most probability of the catalyst playing out, is going to be rescheduling or even descheduling. And that, in my opinion, will knock us out of this bear market and potentially start a new multi-year bull market. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on this news in the comments below. We'll continue the conversation there. It's Rob with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.